There are certain days that pass through human life quietly unnoticed by almost everyone. And then there are days like this, days that carry the feeling of standing at the edge of a doorway you cannot yet fully see. But somehow your soul already recognizes it before your mind does. Today is not ordinary, and deep down you already sense that long before this message found you. Something inside you has been restless lately, not anxious in the usual sense, but alert, almost as if part of you has been waiting for an invisible signal to arrive. That strange anticipation you have been carrying is not random. It is connected to what is unfolding in the sky on May 13th, because the cosmic atmosphere opening above you right now is exceptionally rare, intensely magnetic, and capable of changing the direction of opportunities, conversations, and decisions in ways most people will completely overlook. While millions move through this day distracted, repeating routines and ignoring the subtle shift happening beneath the surface of reality, a small number of people are beginning to feel the pressure building in the air. You are one of them. There is a reason you could not fully shake the feeling that something important was approaching. And later, you will understand exactly why this pull has been growing stronger inside you. What is taking place today is a Mercury-Jupiter sextile, an alignment between the planet ruling communication, perception, language, agreements, and mental processing, and the planet associated with expansion, fortune, abundance, wisdom, and amplified possibility. But this particular alignment carries unusual force because Jupiter is currently moving through Cancer, the sign where its energy reaches exaltation. In astrology, exaltation means a planet is functioning at the highest and most refined version of its nature. Jupiter in Cancer does not hold back its generosity. It magnifies intuition, emotional intelligence, protection, luck, and opportunity with extraordinary ease. And when Mercury harmonizes with an exalted Jupiter, the result is not simply positive energy. It is the creation of a living crossroads between thought and expansion, between words and destiny, between the message and the miracle hidden inside the message. This is why major developments can suddenly emerge under this influence. News travels differently now. Conversations begin opening doors that once seemed permanently sealed. Financial opportunities appear where stagnation previously existed. People finally say what they were too afraid to express before. Negotiations soften. Delays weaken. Possibilities that felt distant begin moving closer with surprising speed. But there is something critical most people never understand about this kind of energy. It does not reward passivity. This is not the type of cosmic alignment where someone simply waits and receives. This is strategic fortune. It only comes alive when a person participates with it consciously. The universe is not dropping luck randomly onto people today. It is responding to readiness, awareness, and willingness to act. That is why many people will completely miss one of the strongest energetic windows of the entire year. They will dismiss their intuition. They will ignore the unusual clarity entering their mind. They will hesitate during moments that were designed to move their life forward. But for those who recognize what is happening, something powerful can begin shifting permanently. The real question is whether you are prepared to claim the opening that has been quietly moving toward you. What makes this even more important is that the energy of today did not suddenly appear out of nowhere. The shift actually began several days ago, although many people fail to recognize the signs. Most astrologers focus only on the exact alignment itself. But the truth is that cosmic momentum builds in layers, and if you have been emotionally aware this week, you have already felt the pressure changing around you. Maybe conversations suddenly started flowing more naturally than they had in weeks. Maybe ideas began arriving faster, clearer, and with unusual structure. Maybe you caught yourself feeling unexpectedly hopeful without understanding why. There may have been moments where you sensed something good approaching, yet you could not fully explain what your intuition was trying to tell you. That emotional undercurrent traces back to May 10th, when the Sun formed a sextile with Jupiter. The Sun governs identity, vitality, confidence, purpose, and the core force of your existence. When it aligned harmoniously with Jupiter, it flooded the collective atmosphere with optimism, vision, generosity, and emotional expansion. That alignment acted like the opening movement of a much larger sequence. It illuminated possibility before the details fully arrived. It revealed the outline of a future your spirit could feel before your logical mind could explain it. Imagine standing in darkness and suddenly seeing a distant landscape lit briefly by lightning. You cannot touch it yet, but you know it exists. That was the Sun-Jupiter sextile. It awakened the vision. Now, on May 13th, Mercury enters the picture and gives that vision language, direction, negotiation, strategy, and movement. What was only sensed emotionally can now become spoken, organized, planned, and confirmed. This is the stage where possibility begins transforming into something tangible, and this sequence is still building. The cosmic events unfolding between now and May 17th are not isolated incidents. They are interconnected steps, each one constructing a pathway from inspiration into manifestation. Every day contributes another layer, another realization, another opening. For people who remain conscious during this period, the difference between fantasy and reality can begin collapsing rapidly. This is why your intuition has been louder lately. This is why the week itself has felt strangely charged beneath ordinary life. You are not imagining the tension, the anticipation, or the sensation that something significant is moving invisibly beneath the surface. You are responding to real energetic momentum. And today marks the moment when what was hidden internally begins taking visible shape externally. There is another layer to this Mercury-Jupiter alignment that many people fail to anticipate, and it may reveal itself inside your own mind before anything changes in the external world. Your thinking process may begin operating differently today. Thoughts that felt chaotic or disconnected can suddenly arrange themselves into complete patterns with unusual precision. Problems that seemed impossible to solve may reveal elegant solutions with startling simplicity. You may notice yourself connecting ideas that previously appeared unrelated, almost as though your perception is widening fast enough to see a larger map hidden behind ordinary reality. This is one of the signatures of Mercury in Taurus, harmonizing with Jupiter in Cancer. Mercury normally moves quickly, jumping from thought to thought, but Taurus slows that energy down and grounds it into something stable, physical, and practical. Instead of abstract overthinking, thoughts begin settling deeply into the body. Ideas stop floating and begin becoming actionable, realistic, usable. And when that grounded Mercury receives expansion from exalted Jupiter in Cancer, intuition and logic begin cooperating instead of fighting each other. Suddenly, you are not only imagining possibilities, you are understanding how to build them. You are beginning to recognize that the breakthrough you have been waiting for may not arrive as chaos or dramatic revelation, but as a moment of undeniable inner clarity that quietly changes the direction of everything that comes next. Something unusual begins happening the moment grounded perception starts cooperating with expanded possibility, because this is no longer just about dreaming bigger. It becomes about finally recognizing which visions in your life are actually capable of taking physical form. That is the hidden power inside this Mercury-Jupiter sextile. It takes ideas that once felt distant, abstract, or impossible, and suddenly places them within reach of reality. You are no longer staring at fantasies floating far above your life. You begin seeing structure. You begin seeing timing. You begin understanding how something can move from imagination into existence. And for many people, this realization may arrive with overwhelming emotional intensity, because there is a difference between wanting something and suddenly realizing it may truly be available to you. That realization changes people. It shakes loose the excuses they have hidden behind. It forces them to confront whether fear has been the only thing delaying their next chapter. If you have been struggling recently to explain something important, something deeply connected to your future, this alignment may feel almost surreal in the way it unlocks expression. Maybe it is a business idea you have been carrying privately because you feared people would not understand it. Maybe it is a creative vision that has existed inside your mind for months but never fully translated into language. Maybe it is a conversation you have postponed repeatedly because every attempt to explain yourself felt incomplete. Today carries the kind of energy where the right words stop resisting you. They arrive naturally, almost as if they have been forming quietly beneath the surface, waiting for the exact cosmic timing needed to emerge clearly. And when they arrive, they do not feel forced. They feel inevitable. This is one reason Mercury-Jupiter alignments have long been associated with major announcements, breakthrough communication, successful negotiations, and life-changing conversations. The universe is synchronizing mental clarity with divine timing. Suddenly, your words hold greater weight. Your message penetrates deeper. Your ideas resonate with the exact people meant to receive them. Conversations that once stalled begin flowing effortlessly. People become more receptive. Doors that felt sealed begin loosening quietly from the inside. This is why hesitation becomes dangerous under this type of energy. If you have been wondering whether now is the right time to send the important email sitting unfinished in your drafts, to make the difficult phone call you keep replaying in your mind, or to finally launch the project you have spent months preparing, the answer hidden inside this alignment is yes. This is the opening. This is the window where movement gains unusual momentum. And the longer you ignore that inner pull, the more intensely you may feel the tension between what your soul wants and what fear keeps delaying. There is also something else unfolding beneath the surface of today that many people misunderstand when astrologers talk about major news connected to Mercury-Jupiter aspects. Most assume this means headlines, collective events, or stories happening far away from their own life. But the news arriving under this alignment often becomes deeply personal. It enters directly into your path, your decisions, your opportunities, and your emotional evolution. The communication unfolding around you now is not random background noise. It is connected to your direction forward. Because Mercury is currently moving through Taurus while Jupiter remains in Cancer, different parts of each person's astrological chart are becoming activated. For some people, this manifests through finances, career advancement, contracts, or unexpected opportunities connected to stability and security. For others, it arrives through relationship breakthroughs, emotional healing, or conversations capable of transforming long-standing tensions. But regardless of the specific area where it appears, the energetic theme remains the same. Expansion meeting practicality, vision encountering execution, possibility merging with structure. You may have spent weeks waiting for a response connected to work, a proposal, a contract, or an important decision that seemed suspended in uncertainty. Today may finally deliver movement. Maybe negotiations surrounding salary, business agreements, or unresolved compromises suddenly soften into solutions that feel balanced and mutually beneficial. Or perhaps the message arriving today does not come from someone else at all. Perhaps you are the messenger. Perhaps this is the moment where you stop hiding what you truly want and begin speaking your vision aloud with conviction strong enough to alter the direction of your future. Whatever form this communication takes, understand something important. If meaningful news enters your life today, it is not accidental. It belongs to a larger energetic pattern that has been building beneath the surface for quite some time. It is arriving now because something inside your life is ready to move forward. And this brings us back to that strange anticipation you have been carrying recently, that feeling you could not fully explain. Earlier, I told you there was a specific reason behind it. Here is the deeper truth. Jupiter in Cancer is currently forming a trine to the collective emotional field, and people who are spiritually sensitive have been unconsciously absorbing this wave for weeks. Since Jupiter entered Cancer back in June of 2025, it has been amplifying themes connected to emotional security, home, family, inner stability, protection, belonging, and the foundations people build their lives upon. But emotional energy alone often feels vague. It exists more as sensation than language. That is why so many people recently sense movement inside themselves without fully understanding what their intuition was trying to communicate. Now, Mercury enters the equation. The conscious mind harmonizes with Jupiter's emotional expansion, and suddenly the feeling gains vocabulary. The pressure inside your spirit finally becomes understandable. What you could once only sense emotionally now crystallizes into clarity. The undefined becomes specific. The emotional undercurrent becomes strategy. This is why Mercury-Jupiter alignments frequently trigger sudden epiphanies that seem to appear out of nowhere. In reality, the information was already growing inside your subconscious long before today arrived. Your deeper mind has been processing patterns, desires, fears, and realizations beneath conscious awareness for weeks. What happens now is that the insight finally rises into a form your waking mind can understand and use. Pay close attention to thoughts that feel unusually powerful today. Not the repetitive noise of fear or anxiety, but the ideas that arrive carrying a deep sense of certainty. The ones that feel aligned before logic even catches up. The thoughts that instantly create the feeling of, yes, this is the direction. Those moments matter. Those are not random mental events. They are energetic downloads. They are blueprints surfacing from the invisible into the visible. And the most important thing you can do when they arrive is trust them. Do not immediately talk yourself out of them. Do not shrink them to fit old limitations. Do not let fear disguise itself as practicality. Under a Mercury-Jupiter sextile, the insights moving through you are supported cosmically. They are not meaningless fantasies. They are potential pathways attempting to open. Timing also matters far more than most people realize. While this entire week carries unusual energetic intensity, May 13th holds unique significance because it represents the exact moment of alignment. Mercury and Jupiter reach a perfect 60-degree separation at 12:40 at night, and that precise alignment acts like the peak of a wave. It is the point where communication, intuition, opportunity, and expansion synchronize most powerfully. Energy like this does not remain at maximum strength forever. There is a reason certain moments feel electrically charged while others feel ordinary. Cosmic timing creates windows where movement becomes easier, where synchronicities multiply, where clarity sharpens, and where action gains amplified momentum. That is why today carries more force than the days immediately after it. This is the climax of the alignment, the exact moment where invisible potential presses closest against physical reality, waiting to see who is willing to recognize it and step forward before the window begins to close. At this point, you may still be wondering whether timing truly matters this much, whether acting today really changes anything compared to waiting several more days until you feel more comfortable, more prepared, or more certain. And that question itself reveals the exact psychological battle this alignment is exposing inside so many people right now. Because human beings naturally want guarantees before movement, they want certainty before risk. They want proof before commitment. But cosmic energy does not operate according to human comfort. It moves in cycles, in rising currents, in windows that open and close with precise timing. And what is happening on May 13th is not static energy sitting still waiting forever. It is a wave reaching its highest point. Astrological aspects behave exactly like tides in the ocean. First, there is the invisible build beneath the surface. Pressure gathers quietly. Emotional momentum increases gradually. Then comes the crest, the peak moment where the force becomes fully available, fully concentrated, fully alive. After that, the wave begins receding. The energy does not disappear completely, but it softens, disperses, and loses the sharp intensity that made action easier during the peak. Today is that crest. This is the exact point where the Mercury-Jupiter sextile reaches maximum clarity, maximum accessibility, and maximum support. The days leading up to this moment have been preparing you emotionally and mentally for activation. The days after will focus more on processing, integration, and understanding what has already been initiated. But today carries the strongest opening. Waiting too long changes the entire energetic dynamic. It is similar to trying to catch a ball after it has already struck the ground and bounced away. Yes, it is still technically possible to catch it, but now you are working against altered momentum. More effort becomes necessary. Timing loses precision. The flow changes, but when you move during the crest itself, you are carried by the wave instead of fighting against it. Your communication gains unusual gravity. Your ideas penetrate deeper into other people's awareness. Conversations move with less resistance. Negotiations unfold with smoother rhythm. You are no longer struggling to manufacture momentum alone because you are moving with the current rather than against it. That distinction matters more than most people realize. And notice something important here. This alignment is not asking you to force outcomes aggressively. In fact, forcing energy under a sextile often weakens the natural flow. The purpose is not domination, it is strategic alignment. It is the ability to recognize when a door has quietly opened and having the courage to walk through it instead of wasting energy trying to break down walls that were never meant for you. That is why, if you have already been planning something, preparing something, positioning yourself for movement, this moment acts like a green light from the universe itself. The project waiting in silence, the proposal left unfinished, the message sitting unsent, the contract delayed by fear, the opportunity you keep revisiting mentally, all of it is now standing inside an unusually supportive energetic current. Send the message, make the call, sign the agreement, launch the vision. Because the universe is not simply observing you right now, it is actively responding to participation. Yet there is one mistake capable of destroying the potential hidden inside this alignment. And it is not failure, rejection, competition, or external obstacles. The greatest danger is hesitation. This is where most people unconsciously sabotage themselves, and it is critical to understand why. In astrology, the sextile aspect carries a very unique psychological dynamic. Unlike a trine, which often flows so naturally that people become passive or complacent, and unlike a square, which forces action through pressure, crisis, and discomfort, a sextile presents opportunity that requires conscious activation. It is the universe placing possibility directly in front of you while quietly asking whether you are willing to engage with it. Imagine standing before a locked doorway while someone places the key into your hand. The door exists. The opportunity exists. The support exists. But the universe will not turn the key for you. You must decide whether to act. And this is exactly where fear disguises itself as logic inside the human mind. This is where people begin negotiating against their own future. Maybe I should wait longer. Maybe I still need more information. Maybe I am not fully ready yet. Maybe there will be a better time later. But if the foundation has already been prepared, if the vision has already become clear, if the opportunity is already present, then waiting is often not wisdom at all. It is fear wearing the mask of caution. Mercury moving through Taurus absolutely encourages thoughtful action, but thoughtful does not mean frozen. Jupiter in Cancer absolutely encourages emotional alignment, but alignment does not require perfection. Sometimes the deeper lesson involves trusting that the preparation already completed has made you more ready than your fear is willing to admit. Because hesitation creates consequences, people rarely recognize until later. While you remain trapped in overthinking, someone else moves. The opportunity you doubted yourself out of pursuing becomes claimed by another person who may possess less talent but greater willingness to act. The conversation you postponed evolves without your presence. The opening you were too afraid to walk through quietly closes. And weeks later, after the energetic current has already shifted, many people look backward and finally realize something painful. The real risk was never action itself. The real risk was refusing to move when the universe opened the path. And as powerful as May 13th already is, it does not stand alone. What happens immediately afterward deepens the significance of this entire sequence dramatically. Because, on May 14th, another extraordinary event arrives. Mercury Kazimi. At 10:30 in the morning on May 14th, Mercury conjoins the Sun at exactly 23 degrees and 48 minutes Taurus. In ancient astrology, when a planet moves directly into the heart of the Sun within 1 degree, it enters a state called Kazimi, an Arabic term meaning inside the heart of the Sun. This matters because planets near the Sun are usually considered combust, weakened, hidden beneath overwhelming solar intensity. But during exact Kazimi, something completely different occurs. The planet becomes purified, elevated, empowered. It receives direct illumination from the source itself. Think about the progression unfolding across these days. On May 13th, Mercury initiates movement. It delivers the message. It opens the negotiation. It begins the conversation. It introduces possibility into physical reality. But then May 14th arrives, and Mercury moves directly into the heart of the Sun, where clarity intensifies beyond doubt. Suddenly, confusion burns away. Emotional static dissolves. The truth becomes impossible to ignore. If you initiate something meaningful during May 13th, then May 14th may become the moment where confirmation arrives. The details sharpen. The missing pieces align. You realize the direction was correct all along. This is why these days function together like interconnected stages of one larger process. May 13th activates. May 14th clarifies and purifies. Then the sequence continues toward May 16th, when the new moon in Taurus grounds everything into material reality. This is not random cosmic activity scattered across unrelated dates. It is a compressed, transformational cycle unfolding within approximately 72 hours. Vision becomes communication. Communication becomes clarity. Clarity becomes manifestation. And when cycles compress like this, breakthroughs that normally require months of struggle can begin unfolding with extraordinary speed. Something that has remained stuck may suddenly start moving all at once. Something emotionally confusing may suddenly become undeniable. And this is where astrology becomes deeply personal, because the exact area where this luck, movement, and breakthrough energy appears depends heavily on your zodiac sign and the specific area of your chart now being activated. Now the energy becomes personal, because even though this Mercury-Jupiter alignment is influencing the collective atmosphere as a whole, the exact place where it enters your life is deeply connected to your zodiac sign and the houses currently being activated in your chart. This is why two people can experience the same cosmic event in completely different ways. One person receives career opportunities, while another experiences emotional breakthroughs. One person suddenly finds financial expansion, while another steps into a life-changing relationship. The alignment is universal, but the doorway it opens is unique for each individual. And once you understand where your chart is being touched, you begin recognizing exactly where the universe is attempting to move your life forward. If you are an Aries, this alignment activates your second house connected to finances, security, and self-worth, while also energizing your fourth house associated with home and family foundations. That means the opportunities appearing now are likely connected to income, tied directly to domestic life. Work from home possibilities, real estate matters, family businesses, or financial developments involving living situations may suddenly begin shifting rapidly. But this energy is also emotional. It is asking you to redefine what security truly means. Many Aries individuals have spent too long believing they must carry everything alone. And now the universe is showing you that stability can actually increase when you allow support, collaboration, and rootedness into your life. If you are a Taurus, this period carries exceptional significance because Mercury and the Sun are moving directly through your first house of identity, while Jupiter expands your third house of communication. In many ways, you become the message itself. Your voice gains influence. Your visibility increases. This is not a passive moment where you remain hidden, waiting for permission. This is your time to speak clearly, launch ideas, introduce yourself to new spaces, and allow people to finally see the version of you that has been developing beneath the surface. Something inside you is tired of shrinking. Something inside you knows it is time to step into a larger chapter, and the cosmic energy now supports that emergence strongly. For Gemini, this alignment touches your 12th house, connected to hidden matters, intuition, and subconscious processing, while also activating your second house of wealth and resources. Financial opportunities may arrive unexpectedly or through channels you did not anticipate. What makes this especially important is that your intuition is heightened right now. You may receive guidance through dreams, sudden inner knowing, or quiet realizations that appear almost mysteriously. Do not dismiss them simply because they do not arrive through traditional logic. The universe is attempting to guide you toward abundance through subtle signals, and the more you trust your instincts, the more clearly the path begins revealing itself. Cancer experiences this alignment very personally because Jupiter continues moving through your first house of self, identity, and expansion, while Mercury energizes your 11th house of friendships, groups, and social networks. This means luck arrives through people. Someone within your circle may unexpectedly become the catalyst for a major opening. A recommendation, a connection, an introduction, or a conversation could shift your direction significantly. But emotionally, this energy also asks you to stop isolating yourself. Many Cancer individuals have been carrying silent burdens privately, believing they must handle transformation alone. This alignment reminds you that your next opportunity may arrive directly through community. Pay attention to the people entering your life right now, because one connection could become far more important than you initially realize. Leo experiences this through the activation of the 10th house of career and public recognition, alongside the 12th house of endings and release. Professional expansion is absolutely available now, but it comes attached to a deeper emotional requirement. Something from the past must be released first. Old identities, outdated fears, unfinished emotional attachments, or lingering versions of yourself that no longer align with where your life is going may finally need to be surrendered. This alignment is not simply elevating your career. It is preparing you for a higher level of visibility, and that process requires emotional purification before the next stage fully opens. Virgo receives this energy across the 9th house, connected to expansion, education, travel, and higher perspective, while the 11th house of community and collaboration also becomes activated. Publishing opportunities, academic breakthroughs, teaching platforms, or alliances with groups sharing your vision may suddenly gain momentum. But emotionally, this alignment also expands your sense of possibility. Virgo often becomes trapped inside overanalysis and perfectionism, but this energy is attempting to push you beyond familiar limitations and into wider territory where your ideas can impact more people than you imagined. Libra experiences movement through the eighth house of shared resources, investments, transformation, and deep energetic exchange, while the 10th house of career becomes amplified simultaneously. Financial partnerships, contracts, or business agreements now possess the potential to elevate your public status significantly. But there is also a psychological lesson unfolding here. This alignment asks you to become more comfortable receiving support, resources, and power without guilt. Many Libras unconsciously fear imbalance whenever success increases. But this period challenges you to stop apologizing for growth and start recognizing that expansion is not selfish when it is aligned. Scorpio enters this sequence after the intense full moon in your sign on May 1st already initiated deep emotional transformation. Now the 7th house of partnerships and the 9th house of growth become activated. Major contracts connected to relationships or business partnerships may finally move toward commitment. Conversations become serious, agreements become official. But beneath the practical developments is a deeper realization that you are no longer willing to remain inside dynamics that limit your evolution. The people now entering your life are meant to expand your future rather than contain it. Sagittarius, ruled directly by Jupiter, experiences this alignment strongly through the 6th house of work, routine, health, and daily structure alongside the 8th house of transformation and empowerment. Your routines are changing in ways that support deeper healing. Work environments, physical well-being, and habits may suddenly reorganize themselves to create greater emotional and energetic balance. This is not only about productivity, it is about reclaiming power over the way you live daily life. Capricorn experiences activation through the 5th house of creativity, joy, romance, and self-expression, alongside the 7th house of partnership. Creative projects gain momentum, while romantic relationships may deepen into stronger commitment and emotional fulfillment. But perhaps the greatest shift involves allowing yourself to experience joy without immediately trying to control it. Many Capricorns have spent years functioning inside survival mode, and this alignment challenges you to remember that life is not meant to be only responsibility. Aquarius receives this energy through the 4th house connected to home, emotional grounding, and family. While the 6th house of health and work routines becomes energized simultaneously. Domestic stability now directly improves your productivity, well-being, and ability to function effectively. Home-based work, wellness practices, or restructuring your living environment could dramatically increase your daily balance. This energy reminds you that external success becomes sustainable only when your inner foundation feels secure. Pisces experiences this alignment through the 3rd house of communication, learning, and expression, while the 5th house of creativity becomes illuminated. Your voice carries unusual magnetism right now. Writers, teachers, artists, speakers, and creators may experience extraordinary flow during this period. Inspiration becomes easier to access. Words arrive naturally. But emotionally, this alignment also asks you to stop hiding your gifts from the world. Your creativity is not accidental. It is part of your purpose, and the universe is amplifying it now for a reason. Wherever this Mercury-Jupiter energy touches your chart, that is precisely where opportunity exists. That is where major developments unfold. That is where luck attempts to enter your life, but only if you consciously engage with it. And what makes this entire sequence even more extraordinary is that the energetic portal does not close immediately after May 13th. The process continues building until May 17th. On May 16th, the new moon in Taurus arrives and acts like a structural anchor for everything initiated earlier in the week. The intentions spoken aloud, the contracts initiated, the conversations begun, and the visions, clarified now, begin rooting themselves into physical reality. This is where abstract ideas start becoming concrete plans. But then, another dramatic shift occurs. On May 17th at 6:30 in the morning, Mercury leaves Taurus and enters Gemini, its home sign. Immediately the pace changes. The slow, methodical energy of Taurus gives way to speed, movement, communication, and rapid dissemination. Then only 14 hours later, Mercury conjoins Uranus, the planet associated with revolution, innovation, awakening, and sudden breakthroughs. This becomes the explosive dissemination phase of the sequence. The carefully constructed plans developed earlier suddenly accelerate outward. Ideas gain reach. Messages spread faster than expected. Conversations create ripple effects far beyond their original intention. And when Mercury touches Uranus, those ideas can become liberating, disruptive, and even viral in unexpected ways. What begins today as one deliberate conversation by May 17th expanded to something reaching far more people than you ever anticipated. A simple plan may suddenly evolve into possibilities you had not even imagined before. That is why this timing sequence is so rare and powerful. It is not isolated luck appearing randomly for a single day. It is a carefully orchestrated progression, moving from vision into communication, into manifestation, and finally into breakthrough. And if you move consciously with each phase instead of resisting it, there is a strong chance you will eventually look back at mid-May of 2026 as one of the defining turning points of your year. Not because destiny simply happened to you, but because you chose to activate the opportunity when the universe opened the door. And what you decide to do within the next 24 hours may shape the emotional, financial, and energetic direction of the next 6 months far more than you currently realize.